So many times when someone loses a loved one or a friend to suicide, the first thing you think is, if I'd only known he was struggling, or if I'd only known he was thinking about killing himself. If I'd only known, I would have helped. I'm Robin Fraser Clark, President of the State Bar of Georgia. Suicide has become an alarming problem in our legal community. Suicide is the third leading cause of death of lawyers, and lawyers are 6 times more likely to kill themselves than any other profession. In the first 9 months of my presidency, at least 3 Georgia lawyers committed suicide, 1 in the parking deck of the State Bar. The State Bar recognized the crisis and decided to take action to try to save a life. The State Bar has numerous resources through its confidential Lawyers Assistance Program to get the care and medical treatment a lawyer who is in crisis needs to prevent him or her from committing suicide. We realized we needed to increase awareness of the risk factors of suicide and the warning signs of someone in a deep enough downward spiral so that members of the bar could help each other get the help they need through the bar. If the State Bar, with all of its resources, can save a life, then I think that is what we have to do, and we will fight the good fight and keep the faith to do so. While watching, keep this in mind, my challenge to you. What are you prepared to do to save a life?
My name is Javon Hicks White. I'm a lawyer, and my husband was a lawyer. At 41, in the prime of his life, he committed suicide.
What I'd like folks to really know about the LAP, the lawyers to know about the LAP, is that we're here to help lawyers. We can provide help for a whole range of problems. We can also help with the much more serious problems, the substance abuse issues, mental health problems. We can help with potential suicide situations. And all it takes is one phone call.
I'm compelled to speak because suicide happens among lawyers, and I think because of our profession, lawyers are not willing to talk about the depression that they're feeling. And so it compels me to try to let lawyers know that it's okay to talk about what's going on, and it's not going to negatively impact their livelihood.
You know, we're the helpers. We're the folks that are supposed to take care of the problems of other people. So a lot of lawyers really have a hard time admitting that they need help with something, and they keep it in and they don't ask for help. And the reality is lawyers are human, just like everybody else.
It's very stressful to take on other people's problems, and you have to feel like you can not only handle them and be in a position to help them, but to also be able to handle yourself. And so if you're having problems handling your own problems, you feel not worthy or not able to handle other people's problems. And so you just don't want people to know that you can't handle it all, because that's what we're kind of taught to be able to do, is handle it all.
All the statistics show that lawyers are 6 times more likely to commit suicide than members of the general population, which is just astounding. Suicide is literally the 3rd leading cause of death in lawyers, and that includes old age. If you stop and think about that, that's scary. And for that reason, all lawyers need to be a lot more aware of what's going on with themselves, emotionally, and with their associates and friends.
Depression is an emotional response to the burdens in their life, and it is a very natural response in all of our lives. All of us have been depressed at one time or another. And with that in mind, the mistake is not to take some action.
We go to the doctor when we're sick. There's nothing any different about recognizing that you need help and going to get it. That is a sign of strength.
The embarrassment factor is hopefully a non-concern, because stress in our lives is an everyday occurrence. It's a condition of life in the first place. When it moves from a stress condition to a distressful state, it means that there's too many complications in our lives that we're unable to handle, and that those things have really become more burdens than they have been challenges.
The thing about it, what's really scary, is that an awful lot of the lawyers who have committed suicide in recent years are not necessarily folks that you would have expected. It's not lawyers that are going to be down and out and having a hard time or something. It's lawyers that, to all outward appearances, are doing well, they're successful.
They just didn't understand where it came from. How could someone who was so successful and so handsome, and he was someone who had what people call it, and how could someone who had it take their own life? And so you're having to explain that people get depressed and they need help. And if we can't get them to understand it's okay to get that help, then they feel like they have to protect all of you from what's going on inside of them. And we need to let people know who are suffering with depression that it's okay. It's okay to talk, and you will not feel anything less about them when they admit that.
And so the issue is, how do you go get help? And the Lawyer Assistance Program is a program that's been around for many, many years, and the Georgia State Bar treats it as a clearly confidential service, professional service that is they want to provide and see their members use when needed. So as to help the attorney restore their life vitality, their positive family arrangement or family lifestyle, their own health and their balance in life, and feel good about their practice and seeing that the direction is taking.
Do you think you may have the symptoms of depression? Some of the signs of depression include persistent sad, anxious, or empty feelings, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, or helplessness, irritability, restlessness, loss of interest in activities or hobbies once pleasurable, including sex, difficulty concentrating and making decisions, insomnia or excessive sleeping, overeating or appetite loss. Symptoms of depression may worsen, and not getting treatment can be life-threatening. More than 1 out of every 10 people battling depression commit suicide. Anybody who expresses suicidal thoughts or intentions should be taken very seriously.
Call us up. If in doubt, call us up. If you have a friend or associate that you think maybe has some issues, call us up. There's no downside to it. We have a 24-hour hotline. We have trained counselors that are available all over the state. I myself sometimes I've gotten calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've gotten up and talked to lawyers, and I'm glad to do it.
There's so many other options, and there's so many other angles that someone can take to seek good quality care, confidential, trusted, and be able to find a different way out from the misery that they feel like they live within and they've been living with too long. Things are not hopeless. People can find and regain a sense of hope in their life. To us, when we're successful in helping someone regain that hope in life, then we have saved a life. And that's our purpose and that's our mission.
Suicide is a permanent answer to a temporary condition. And we need to do all we can to make people who are feeling that depression to recognize that it's not the period, it's a comma, and there's more to the sentence. And we have not had the conversation. We have not told other lawyers that it's okay to feel depressed, not just feel bad, to be in a state of depression. It is okay, there's nothing wrong with you. I think the lawyers, the state bar, being on the front end of having that conversation makes others go ahead and say, let me get that help. And if it can keep one person from walking down that road to suicide, it's worth what we're doing.